Welcome to the RC Audio Sports Weekly Vodcast. I'm Bobby Mendez alongside Haley Wilson, Coach Robert Villafranca, and in today's episode, cross country prepares for the region meet and a battle of the unbeatens in 12-5A District 1 football. Volleyball is in the home stretch, shout-outs, and a web gem, but we begin today's episode with 28-5A tennis.
Yeah, absolutely, Bobby. So kicking us off, like you had said, we had some exciting 28-5A tennis occurring over the last week or so. Medina Valley, Floresville, Southwest, and McCollum all came out with really strong performances and swept the by-district round, but that ended up coming up a little bit short and falling in the area round. So Medina Valley ended up falling to Bernie Champion. Floresville fell to Georgetown. Southwest fell to Dripping Springs. And McCollum ended up falling to Alamo Heights, that we know a little bit well because they're right down the road, at least for me. So this is going to bring tennis to a close for the fall. But Coach, as you kind of let me know, they'll be back in the spring for individuals and even some doubles matches.
That's right. Tennis actually has two seasons, a fall season and a spring season. In the fall, it's team tennis and teams advance, just like a team would in team sports. And then the spring tennis is more individuals and doubles, and the individuals and the doubles teams advance on their own and not necessarily the teams. A tough draw for 28-5A tennis in that second round. Two of those teams are playing for the semi-regional. They're in the semi-round of the regionals tournament. And the only reason that there's only two playing is that the two that are playing eliminated the other two that 28-5A played in the second round. So a tough draw and a good season for 28-5A tennis as they all made it through the by-district round.
Well, that before we close off on tennis, I want to give out actually a fun fact that just came to me as we're doing this. Joey Mejia, our statistician, district, I believe a district champion when he played in for Coach Landry over at Orlando. So our statistician on the tennis team back in the late 1900s when he played. But close out that and let's run along and talk about some cross country.
Bobby, the late 1900s. I think we mean the late 1990s, right? Is that right?
Late 1900s, 99. Yeah, Joey, class of 1999.
There you go.
You asked me when I graduated, I say in the late 1900s.
Good job. Good job, Joey. Girls cross country just had the district meet. Boys and girls did as well. On the girls side, Medina Valley was the team champion. Nicole Bloodgood was their best finisher at third. Southwest Legacy came in second, and they actually had the district champ and the silver medalist, Regina Pompa and Alicia Galvez for Southwest Legacy. And Floresville was the third place team. Genesis de Leon at ninth was their best finisher. Those three teams will advance to the regional meet. Also qualified in cross country, the top three teams advance, and then any individual runner that finished in the top 10 spots also advances. And Chantel Garcia from Wynn is the seventh place finisher. She goes on to regionals. And Alexandra Martinez at 10th will also compete at the regionals next week. So congratulations to the girls' regional qualifiers.
Yeah, good notes there, Coach. And again, had some pretty stiff competition for the boys as well. Southwest Legacy and Medina Valley were neck and neck, but ultimately Southwest Legacy ended up, I think, winning by a couple of points to become the champion. So Medina Valley came in second and Wynn ended up coming in third. For Southwest Legacy, top performances from Anthony Zapata, David Martinez, and Moises Diaz. And then for Medina Valley, top performances and in top times from Mark Castro, Timothy Teague, and Clayton McCullough. So three runners also qualified for the guys. Sebastian Moreno from Harlandale, who feels like we've said his name a couple of times before. Chris Moline from Floresville and Edward Rojas, also from Harlandale ISD. So some good representation there.
Well, mark your calendars. It's on October the 25th at Texas A&M University Corpus Christi. The girls will run at 9 a.m. and the boys will run at 9:30. Let's keep this moving along and talk about District 12-5A in the battle of unbeatens in this football district, the Buda Johnson Jaguars and the Seguin Matadors. It's clearly the most critical football game on this week's schedule, Friday night. These two teams meet.
Yeah, absolutely. Going off what you said, Bobby, Buda Johnson and Seguin are going to clash for a big time matchup this Friday night, the 22nd, as someone's undefeated conference record is going to be no more. So both teams coming in 4-0. Buda Johnson is led by quarterback Jesse Medina, who has an amazing completion percentage. I think he's throwing over 60%. I think we've talked about this in a previous podcast, but it was also the leading rusher, it looks like, for the Buda Johnson Jaguars as well. So dual threat there. Ethan McAllister has been putting up some monster numbers for the Jaguars on the receiving end. And the Jaguars are coming off of a big win against Harlandale, 42-9. So, Coach, I'm excited to hear the score and see what's going to happen tomorrow night.
Well, Seguin is unbeaten as well, Haley, in district play. They lost their first two ball games opening up the season. They brought in a new head coach, so maybe just a couple of weeks to get things, get some traction there. But since the first 2 weeks, they've gone 5 games undefeated, 4 of those in district play. So it's a battle of, it's king of the hill somewhat, but there's 3 4-0 teams in 12-5A so far. So 2 of those will battle it out. Only one of those will be left unbeaten. After Friday night, we saw Seguin here recently at Memorial Stadium against McCullum, and we saw Troy Falgo, the quarterback. He's great efficiency. He's completing more than 56% of his passes. And of course, John Jackson was our player of the game, a running back. John Jackson is averaging over 6 yards per carry, and he's got 130 attempts already this year. The Seguin, certainly we've seen how potent that offense can be. But Buda Johnson is averaging 54 points a game. So the Matadors are either going to have to, level up on that defensive side of the ball or score a lot of points. This should be a good one. Buda Johnson traveling to Seguin, Texas on Friday night for the critical match in 12-5A D1.
Yeah, we'll be sure to keep you updated during our broadcast for that game as well. Hey, Coach, there's another big game in 28-5A as well.
Yes, Vets Memorial and New Braunfels Canyon, a big game coming up as well, Bobby. We've got in 12-5A, we've got really Buda Johnson, Dripping Springs, and Seguin. They're unbeaten. They've already won 4 games in district play. They're a lock for 3 playoff seeds. And in 12-5A, there's really only 1 seed left to play for. And that other critical game that we're talking about, Vets Memorial and New Braunfels Canyon will be playing, and this could determine the 4th spot in 12-5A. We've got we'll keep you covered. We'll have all kinds of games going on Friday. Of course, we'll talk to you about the game we're streaming, but we'll keep you posted on all the games that are going on in 12-5A Friday night.
Yeah, 12-5A gearing towards everybody getting fighting for that last spot in playoffs, but folks are the volleyball team already kind of looking in playoffs, already coming pretty quickly. Haley, McCullum, and Harlandale, let's talk about them as far as the playoffs are concerned for volleyball.
Yeah, absolutely, Bobby. So Harlandale, McCullum, Floresville, and Medina Valley are all going to be representing District 28-5A in the UIL state playoffs. But Harlandale and McCullum have secured those top 2 seeds. So as for McCullum, they're coming off of a big win versus Eagle Pass this past week, swept them 3-0. And they have 2 more key matchups coming up. I believe this upcoming Friday night and next Tuesday against Floresville and Southwest. So got to finish the season strong and really solidify that confidence going into the playoffs and try to keep that record as clean as possible. And they're bringing in right now that 13-1 record into the playoffs. Harlandale also coming off of a couple of big wins, swept both Southside and Floresville 3-0. And they'll be rounding up their season with 2 games against Southwest Legacy. So we'll be looking to see, team leaders, Grace Pacheco, Chanesi, and Kayla Reyes help finish the year strong and hopefully keep the momentum going for both Harlandale and McCullum going into the playoffs.
Chanesti Viryab Bermea also earned a San Antonio Express News game ball this past week. So representing Harlandale and representing 28-5A, we got a good look at her on the game that we streamed, outside hitter. Quite a jumper. She's still a junior, bringing up the 3rd and 4th spots in 28-5A volleyball. Floresville and Medina Valley. They have already secured playoff spots. One of them will be third. The other one will be fourth, and they've got 2 games remaining. Floresville has McCullum and Medina Valley left to play. Medina Valley has Wynn, and then, of course, Floresville. So the season finale for these two will be against each other. Floresville and Medina Valley have secured spots. They're going to the dance. But who's third and who's fourth is still yet to be determined. And it looks like that finale, the season finale, the district finale, a week from, next Tuesday. Not a week from next Tuesday, that game will be played. That's a finale, and that could very well determine the 3rd and 4th seeds and who they match up in the first round. So 28 5A got some volleyball games, big volleyball games still on schedule.
Well, 28 5A volleyball, you could always capture on RC Audio Sports all the information happening on there. Again, it's on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or on all of them. RC Audio Sports. That's going to lead us up now, Coach, to our game and Haley coming up this weekend or this week, which will be the team from Dripping Springs. They are 7-0.
Yes, yes, indeed, Bobby. Harlandale and Dripping Springs at Memorial Stadium. That will be the game that RC Audio Sports will stream Friday night. And we get to see Harlandale again for the first time in about a month. We haven't seen them in a while, and we're looking forward to them. The good news for Harlandale is that they get to come back to the friendly confines of Memorial Stadium and enjoy some home cooking. The bad news is Dripping Springs is rolling into town. Dripping Springs 12, I beg your pardon, 5A D1 football in Texas has 6 undefeated teams left in the entire state of Texas. 2 of them are in 12 5A D1, and one of them is Dripping Springs. Dripping Springs has scored a lot of points. The Harlandale defense has played well. They'll be challenged like they have not been challenged before. Over the last 2 losses, the Indians have turned the ball over more than I'm sure that they wish they had. They won't be able to make those mistakes against Dripping Springs. Dripping Springs is merciless with their opponents when they make mistakes. Harlandale is going to have to keep the turnovers down to 0, the mistakes very, very few. The margin for error against a team like Dripping Springs is small.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. And Dripping Springs, putting up some crazy numbers this year. They're led by junior quarterback Austin Novosad, who is completion percentage 74%. He's thrown for over 400 yards on the season. As for offensive firepower, Preston Alford is killing it on the ground for Dripping Springs, averaging over 6 yards a carry, and then doubling as a receiver, averaging 20 yards a catch. So Garen Duncan, Kyle Coach, Preston Alford, names to watch for and names to listen for on Friday night. And yep, Coach, it'll be a big matchup and a tough one here tonight or tomorrow night for the Indians.
Yeah, in a district with 8 teams, you play 7 games, and just a rule of thumb there: when you're in a district with 8 teams, 7 games, you got to win 4 of them. And Harlandale has won 1. They've got 3 left. If they want a chance, they've got an outside chance. They've got to win out. A tall task in front of them Friday night.
That's as tall as they get, especially in this district, going up against a very seasoned Dripping Springs. So Indians have their work cut out for them this week. Winding down the last couple segments we got here, the fun part of our show here was we like to give out some shout outs from what's going on during the week. So let's start off with you, Haley. What do you got? Who do you want to recognize?
Yeah, absolutely. I was fired up on Twitter this week after seeing a couple of the different 28 5A girls basketball team is starting practice. I saw some suicide runs online. I saw some layup drills, some 3-man weave in there. So my shout out is going to all of the teams that started practice this week. I love basketball. I love watching basketball. So shout out to them for getting started this week. Really excited to see some of those teams hit the court here in not too long.
Basketball is great, and look for RC Audio Sports to put out their schedule for the basketball season soon. We're really looking forward to that, and happy to see those girls back on the court. Bobby and Haley, my shout out is going to be to the marching bands of the schools that the games that we stream. We always show halftimes. We know that that Friday night atmosphere and climate just is not the same when the marching band is not there. This past Saturday, UIL marching contest was held for 5A schools, and a shout out to Harlandale High School and McCullum and Medina Valley, Wynn, Southwest Legacy, and Southwest. All of them brought home sweepstakes, as it's termed, straight ones from UIL. We always enjoy the games. We enjoy the halftimes just as much. Shout out to the straight ones.
All right, great. Bands always important, and of course, basketball season coming right up. I wanna just go out there as far as shouting out to the UTSA Roadrunners. They are 7-0. I think that's pretty important. I think each week the city feels it, and the Roadrunner vibes are going pretty good right now. So I always like to see our local teams do well. And UTSA is on the big stage right now, which is cool. They're getting some really good recognition, even in some national media. So I am totally proud of them and happy about that. So that's my shout out. And now it's time for our web gem, is where we see something online, we like it, we come together and want to share it with you guys. In this one here, we see the Medina Valley Panthers basketball team. They're getting ready to go. Basketball practice began this past Wednesday, so they're getting ready, as well as you will see again the McCullum Cowboys getting ready to go. So this is our week gem for this week.
Yeah, each week the three of us will watch. We pay close attention to your Twitter accounts, your social media accounts, and we'll select something that you've posted on your official accounts for our web gems. So make sure, if you're doing that and you want us to see it, tag RC Audio Sports on your social media account, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know you're doing it, and you might see it on the next RC Audio Sports Vodcast.
Well, and that'll do it for episode 4. We want to thank our sponsors, Martinez and Associates, Superior Tax Service, Motto Mortgage, OPG, which is on Park Golf, State Farm, the office of Sonia Flores, Gilly International Group, that's Gilly Mendoza, and we thank you for making this vodcast possible. For Haley, Coach, and myself, until we stream again, you've been watching the RC Audio Sports Vodcast.